If you are a new dancer, this is a good place to start because all I'm going to be teaching you today is how to walk in your shoes properly. For one, what type of shoes to wear and size for preference. And then I'm just going to teach you a few different walking techniques forward and backwards. And then I'm going to teach you some directional changes. And then we're going to put that all into a short little sequence. Woo, you ready? Awesome. Okay, here we go. So first things first, you want to stand about elbow width to the pole. So I'm just going to mark my elbow and grab, and I'm going to tuck my pelvis and stand right next to the pole. I'm going to call this home base or 12 o'clock in terms of just some terminology for you. And I'm going to start by stepping on my gas. And since I'm already in my shoes, this is essentially the gas. And this is your starting position before you even move. And you want to make sure that you're walking where the rubber meets the boot. And I'll explain that more as we continue to get into the tutorial portion. But you want to learn how to stand on your tippy toes like this, and that will give you a much more effective glide as you're walking around the pole. In terms of shoe size, these are pleasers, and these are also 8-inch shoes. I highly recommend starting with 7 inches. Or you could be like me and just jump straight to 8. And the reason why I recommend that is because it'll be a lot easier for you to walk and glide with more of a platform in the higher heel versus doing a 5 or a 6-inch shoe, and you're going to struggle in some of the foundational moves, and it's just going to discourage you. So that's why I recommend starting in 7-inch shoes. All right, so now I'm going to get to the technique. The most important foundational movement you're ever going to do in your pole career is walking, which is why we're starting with the very basics. And I don't want to overwhelm anyone by doing too much, so that's why we're just taking it slow in bite-sized pieces. So now we're going to get to the walk. Yay. So each step, I'm going to step on my gas. I'm really going to pull down in my shoulder, and I'm just going to start with my hand at my side. We'll work on that more in a minute. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my outside leg, and I'm going to bring that in front of the pole. And then I'm going to drag the other foot slowly behind it to make a nice little glide. And then I'm going to do that again at 6 o'clock. And then I'm going to do one more step at 9 o'clock, and then one more, and back home. And then you can just take a break for a second. And I'm going to zoom in on the camera so you can see my feet a little bit better. I'll show you another variation with the 4-point walk so that it's not just starting with the outside leg and continuing to drag the same leg. So you can also obviously switch legs to make it look like you're walking for a little bit more variation in your movement. So I'll show you what that looks like now. And I'm just rotating between my outside leg and my inside leg. So left, right, and that will help you be able to get around the pole. Okay, now we're going to do the other side because obviously we need to condition both sides. We're not going to be lopsided, especially starting out at first. So I'm teaching you this right away. Okay, so again, I'm standing on the gas. I'm just going to leave my hand here, pull at the shoulder, And then I'm going to start again with my outside leg. Then I'm going to drag, inside leg, drag to second base, then outside leg, drag to third base, and then inside leg, drag back home. And you can now go on the brakes. Okay, so that was the 4-point walk. Now I'm going to show you another variation, which is the 3-point walk. And I'm just going to start on my outside leg again for simplicity's sake. So that's going to be my left leg. And it's just going to go a little bit past first base. And I'm going to drag. Then I'm going to do it again, a little bit behind, and then drag. And then back to home base, and then drag again. And if you want to do it with rotating each foot instead of just doing the outside leg over and over again, that will look like this. Okay, now that's kind of boring. So now we're going to add some arm movements to make it look like we are owning the movement and we're not just walking around like we're bored as shit like this. That's how a lot of beginners, including myself, used to walk. So I want to help you knock that habit before it even begins. All right, so now that you've mastered the 3-point walk and the 4-point walk, I'm going to show you a little accentuation in your arms while you're walking. I'm just going to take it around 2 times. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trace my body all the way up into my head and just do a little arm circle. And you can bring that down and across while you're walking. Use your imagination and see where your hands want to take you, because they are an integral part of your movement. And it's not just your feet. You have to move everything in unison. That's why the professionals look like they're not even trying. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do 2 laps around. Here we go. So now that you have a couple ways to walk, I'm going to show you a few directional changes so you're not just walking back and forth. You're like, what the fuck am I going to do? Okay, so the first one is going to be walking backwards. So let's just say I'm walking on the pole, la, 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 la. And now I'm like, okay, what do I do? So I'm back at home base. I don't want to just keep circling around the pole. I can just hook my elbow. I'm going to start with my outside leg, and I'm going to bring that behind me using the gas like I mentioned in the beginning. And then you can do a little drag with the ball of your heel back to starting position. And you can also use your head to lead with your head as you get more comfortable, so it looks like a more fluid movement. So I'll do a couple more of those. I'm going to step and drag, step, and drag, and step, and drag, and step, and drag. And now we're back here. I'll do that on the other side so you can see that. I'm going to step with my right leg this time, step. I'm going to drag with the left, and I'm going to step, and I'm going to drag with the left, and I'm going to step, and I'm going to drag with the left, and I'm going to step again and drag with the left. And now we're back to home plate. All right, so that's one directional change. The second directional change I'm going to show you is a little pirouette. That's one of the foundational moves I learned in my intro to pole class. So I'm going to break this down. First, I'm going to do it in full motion, and then I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so I'm going to break down the pirouette now that I did it in full motion. So I'm going to step on my gas. I'm going to bring my hand nice and high. I want to pull down with the lat, because that's going to be your pull. Your push is going to be you punching your gut, and your hand is going to be facing your belly button. You want your thumb down and pinky up, like you're drinking some fancy tea. Cool. And so you want to keep your hand at your crotch. I'm going to be pushing and pulling away from the pull. Next, as I take a step, with my outside leg, my inside leg is going to turn. As I lead with my head, I'm going to be rotating into the pull. I'm going to be sniffing my right armpit. That's why I'm waving it right now. So as I'm pulling and pushing, that momentum is going to come from me leading it in my head, pushing away from the pull. I'm going to be standing my gas so that way I don't drag. Now I'm going to bring my heel around. Now I'm here, but I'm going to have to switch my hand to a true grip, and then you can just keep walking around. All right, so now that I've taught you a bunch of foundational movements, we're going to put them all together now. So for the sake of me posting this on YouTube, I'm just going to do it to no music so it doesn't get blocked. You can choose whatever song you want, put that on now. Feel free to pause the video, because I want this to be an exercise where you're really connecting to yourself and the music and the movement, and then you can just listen to my counts in the background if you want, or you can just mute me while I'm dancing and you can just look at it, whatever the hell you want. So now for a short sequence. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on my gas. I'm going to walk around the pole. Just one walk. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I just rotated between outside, inside, outside, inside. Okay, so now that we did a forward walk, we're going to walk backwards now. So I'm going to switch the grip. I'm going to start with my outside leg leading with my head. Then I'm going to step and then drag. Then I'm going to step again, drag, step, drag. And now I'm back here. It can take you however many walks you need to. Just do one rotation around the pole. So now that we did one walk forward and backwards, we're going to turn around, start with the left hand. We're going to now do a 4-point walk on the left. And now you can face the pole and turn back to starting position. So we did the 4 steps forward, and then we walked backwards, and then we did 4 steps to the other side. Now you're facing the pole. You can face the audience too, that's fine. So I'm going to bring my left hand out, make a little accentuation of my movement as I'm standing in my gas, bringing my arm up to starting position. And then you can like trace your hair, have a little moment, move your hips, shake that little booty. And then we're going to go do the pirouette. So I'm going to step and do my pirouette. And then you can just walk back to home plate. So now I'm going to do that again in full motion for you. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy this video. Please leave me some comments and feedback, because I'm not used to teaching choreo videos like this, especially on YouTube. So please add a comment, like, and subscribe the video so I can get some more engagement and create better videos for you guys in the future. Adios.